Welcome to It's All Greek to Me. Today we're going to be talking about taxation. Now I know we've done a previous video on taxation, but because we're in a new year and some things are different this year, I thought we would retouch on who needs to be filing taxes in Greece and when we should be filing our taxes this year, because I know it's different again. So welcome, Anastasio. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Perfect. Tell us, let's start with when should we start our declarations this year?
We file whenever it's announced by the government, by the public revenue agencies, that the system is open. Why I say that? Because in Greece, it's done electronically. There is the taxes net system. Think of it as like logging in for CRA. It's something similar. So traditionally, the system opens beginning of or mid of April, and you have until the end of June. This year, they want to open the system earlier, so they have announced that they're going to start to receive income tax declarations at the end of March. So my office is getting ready in order to, as soon as the system opens, to file on behalf of our clients this year's tax declarations. Now, who needs to file income tax declaration or a tax declaration for that reason? All those that have a tax identification number, αριθμό φορολογικού μητρώου. If you have a tax identification number, you need to file income tax declaration. Even if you do not have an income, but you have properties, and at any point later you would require what we call a φορολογική ενημερότητα, a tax clearance certificate. You need to be up to date with your taxes. So some people that have no income in Greece, but they have properties and they live abroad, and they ask their friends, relatives, or professionals, the offices that they used to retain to do their taxes, and they ask them, do we need to file? They would say, no, you don't. Well, that's half true. If you live abroad, you don't have an income, and even though you have a property, you could choose not to file. That's fine. You have no penalties, it's fine with that. You're fine with that. However, if down the road, in 2 or 3 years from now, you would need to do a real estate transaction, you decide to sell, you decide to buy, you decide to do something with your property, you will need from the tax authorities what we call a φορολογική ενημερότητα, a tax clearance certificate. A certificate basically saying that you're up to date with your taxes and you do not owe anything. To get that, you won't be able to get that if you had not filed at least 3 years prior.
Which they don't tell you.
Exactly. And you will pay a penalty for having filed a tax declaration that you did not need to file in the first place. So, why not file, even with zero income, just to be in good standing?
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I advise people. And it's important, and all the time I keep repeating myself. If you live abroad and you have a tax ID number, an αριθμό φορολογικού μητρώου, an AFIMI, it's important that you belong in the public revenue agency for non-residents. Στην ΔΟΗ, στην εφορία κατοίκων εξωτερικού.
Now, what difference does it make if I am in that ΔΟΗ?
There was a time that did not make a difference. So at one point you needed an AFIMI because you needed to get something in your name, or you needed because you had an income, or you needed because you moved and lived in Greece, so you got an AFIMI. Today it makes a difference, because if you live abroad and you don't file, or you file a zero income tax declaration, the system will read it as zero. However, if your tax ID number is locally issued, for example, you belong in a local public revenue agency, you consider for tax purposes a resident of that place. So when you don't file, or when you file zero, the system does not read zero. The system reads the presumed income, the τεκμήριο διαβίωσης, whatever the presumed income is. So I keep saying to people that in Greece, unfortunately, you're not solely taxed based on what you declare. You're taxed sometimes based on what they think you declare, and not that you earn, and not declare to them. Who is exempted from presumed income? Non-residents. How are you non-resident? By living abroad? No. by, of course, living abroad, but also having in the public revenue agency, in the tax authorities in Greece, register, declare as someone as living abroad.
I see.
Another
Another thing they don't tell us.
Exactly.
Okay.
Another important thing to know is, in Greece, to do any real estate transaction, to go and buy something, they ask you where you found the money.
Yes.
So whatever you're purchasing has to be related to what you declare in your income tax declaration, right? So if tomorrow you go and buy a property, let's say 100,000 euros, you have a tax ID number. Your tax ID number is locally issued. You belong, let's say, in the Foria of Sparte. Because at one point you went and got your affimi in Sparte. But you live here. You're a non-resident. Είσαι κάτοικος εξωτερικού. And you want to buy this property of 100,000 euros. They will ask for that tax clearance certificate. They will ask also to see that your income, the one that you declare in your income tax declaration every year in Greece, is enough so you can afford to purchase to cover something of 100,000 euros.
Okay.
Who is exempted from that? A non-resident. And the list goes on. And it's the truth. You live abroad, why to be considered for tax purposes as someone that lives in Greece?
Well, no, it doesn't
and
make
vice
sense.
versa.
It makes sense.
So it's important to know that the system for the filing of your tax declarations will be opening end of March. And it's important to know that if you have a tax ID number, if you have an income, if you have properties in Greece, it's important to file, and it's important to be up to date with your taxes in Greece. It's important to know that if you're a non-resident, you should be declared as a non-resident in Greece. And it's important the same way you're up to date with everything here and you do everything the proper way, why not to do the same in Greece?
Yeah.
It's not any different. And that's when everything will be fine. You'll be fine in Greece, you'll be fine here. Let's not forget the two countries have a tax treaty for the avoidance of double taxation. It's important to be up to date, and when we are up to date, we have nothing to worry.
Beautiful. Thank you for all that wonderful information, Anastasi.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for following us once again this week. We'll see you next time.